Welcome everybody to Scaling Lean's Weekly Live. Jonathan Floransky and Nina Brennan here, and we're here to share tidbits of sustainable scaling in the online industry. We're the co-founders of Scaling Lean. If you're watching from YouTube, hello, give us a like, give us a subscribe, etc. But every week we go over wins, losses, successes, and failures that we face in the online industry. And we're here to bring some transparency into the space of consulting, of the coaching space, and what we love is the agency space. So today what we're going to go over is the role of branding in client acquisition. So if you don't know this, we are a client acquisition company. We will help with end-to-end client acquisition with marketing and sales system setup, as well as lead generation and custom marketing strategies and solutions for the clients that we work with. So what we're going to cover today is number one, being seen as the industry experts on platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Google, understanding market sophistication, growing trust and loyalty as you grow your list of leads and honing in on how to nurture correctly, and nurturing properly with congruence so people are vetted and pre-sold before hitting your calendar. With that being said, really great topics today. We can dive right in.
Absolutely. Welcome. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Absolutely fire topic, the role of branding in client acquisition. So really look forward to diving into that and showcasing what we've learned over the many years that we've been in the online space, because branding is really important as you're trying to scale your business. And we really want to showcase that today during this live. So yeah, with that being said, Nina, let's hop in.
I think the most important thing to do first, what is branding and how do we define it here at Scaling Lean in a sense of what does it entail? We'll start there.
Well, I mean, for me personally, and I mean, you were there too at some point, right? I was there a little later than you, but I was like fed the conception of like I needed all these logos and I needed everything like super polished initially on my journey. So I spent a lot of time creating logos and branding behind my business, and I didn't have any traction yet, right? So really the idea for this live came from just that. Like through my journey, I learned that stuff really doesn't matter in the initial startup phase of your business. It's really just about getting your brand, your name out there, putting together a product or service, and identifying a market that you can solve a problem for, and going and selling that product with a minimal viable product launch, and then creating the product on the back end. So that's where the idea came from. But as you do begin to scale to 10, 20, 30, 50, 70K per month, that is when branding does come into play, and it's very serious, and you should really take it seriously, because I think, Nina, for us, maybe we waited a little bit too long in other business adventures to really step into that branding, which ultimately may have led to a little bit of unpredictability. So that's really the overall vibe of the live today. And I just wanted to come in with that pretty hot right here at the beginning.
I definitely think that the topic of branding has to be discussed, especially as you are building the vision of a company or building a vision of your business and your brand. So many times, a lot of people, they don't go into a 3, 5, 10-year mindset when it comes to branding and building their business, building their brand. And there is a difference between personal brand building and having forward-facing you as the forward facer of your company and leading that way, and also having your business as forward-facing. Where if you are looking to build your business as the forward-facing, branding at the base level is a lot more important than when you are building your personal brand. And you have to think of people that are in the content creation space very heavily. Think of people that are in the personal branding space, like Gary Vaynerchuk is like the biggest name, and Alex and Layla Hermosi. It's like they are forward facing inside of their company. And it's like up until a year ago, I couldn't even tell you the companies that Gary Vaynerchuk or Neil Patel had, or even Alex and Layla. The only business they're really known for is gym launch and acquisition, but they have a slew of businesses under their belt and it's their personal brand leading. Whereas like if you talk about branding from company standpoint of like, if you take a company that's like Nike, you don't really know who the owners are. It's their logos and their actual things behind it that are, forward facing of their brand. You really have to establish that in the very foundation, and like that can help you build your branding strategy going forward.
Yeah, I love how you just hit that right on the head right away, Nina. It's really important to understand the vision of your business, right? Like, what business are you in? Are you in the type of business that you want to exit? Or is it a business that is really built strictly around your brand? Like, are you going to be more of like the guru of the business, which is completely cool and fine, but having that defined early on will give you the ultimate clarity of the direction you should need to go. And I loved how you brought in Gary Vaynerchuk and Alex Ramosi, and I mean, really anyone in the space at all today, even like Elon Musk, like any big name. Yeah, they have all these brands underneath of them, but truly in today's world, it's really about building the brand of you, like your brand, your personal brand, and then attaching the business to that personal brand. Where like back in the day, like Henry Ford, like, yeah, he was known as Henry Ford, but it was really like Ford Motor Company was like the big thing. And everyone just looked at Ford Motor Company, not so much of the person forward facing, because they back then they didn't have social media, right? They didn't have, all of these podcasts, YouTube channels, like variety of different like TikToks and Instagrams and all this stuff. So I loved how you just brought that in right away, Nina, because it is really important to really define yourself and your business's brand. Is it going to be you forward facing, or is it going to be more of a logo of your brand that's showcased?
Yeah. And I think it definitely is important to understand the niche and the marketplace that you're trying to pierce or disrupt. And I listened to a really excellent podcast this week about market sophistication and understanding the market sophistication of the niche in the market that you're in. So for example, like we're in one of the hardest markets, JP. Like we're helping agency owners really scale their agencies with systems, processes, and custom marketing solutions on the back end. So we have to go the extra mile of like building the personal brand as well as the brand in order to be in that place to compete. It's like getting our name out there, showcasing the results of our clients, and also just being a validated person as well as a validated brand in the online space. Where like say you're an agency owner that's kind of in the content creation space, like one of our friends, it's like he's doing videography for real estate agents or something like that. He's not paving the way of something brand new, but like his work could speak for himself. And like a lot of people don't want to have to learn the intricacies of videography and repurposing and reposting on social media. So the market sophistication is about a like 2 to 4 in that space, where it's like he doesn't have to build brand end face. He could just build a really solidified brand on the back end where his work can be like a trusted source for himself that people will hire him for. So it's really understanding like where your business is on the scope of market sophistication, what your ideal client has gone through in the past with your product, services, and offers, and how can you pave your niche in the market. So if you are in the coaching space, which is very saturated, it doesn't matter what niche you're in, or if you're in the agency space, like how are you going to be able to stand out from the crowd in terms of offer, in terms of branding, in terms of what you're actually delivering and bringing to the market?
Absolutely. Why don't we break down market sophistication a bit? Like, why don't we simplify that? Because I know for me initially, like I didn't really know what that was. Like even that in recent months, like I've really been diving deep into it and learning about it. So why don't we dive a little bit deeper into that, Nina? I mean, I'll take a first crack at it from my perspective. Like market sophistication is really what is it that you're offering the market? Is that like no matter what it is it a product, service, e-com, whatever you're doing? And then like what is the available market or the TAM, the total available market for that product or service? So the market that Nina just explained, it's in like a wider variety of a market. So think about like an agency offered building websites for like local businesses, right? There's probably a lot of availability for something like that, and it's not very sophisticated because really it's a one size fits all type of solution, right? It's a quote unquote boring business. Where if you get into a market that's more sophisticated, like online coaching or an online agency, there's a lot of online agency and a lot of consulting programs out there that are teaching similar things. So the total adjustable market isn't as big, and you have to have more of a transformation to get the results for those clients. I think that's the best way to explain it, Nina, and definitely put whatever you like learned on your end as well, like in that.
Yeah, and I think you definitely hit the nail on the head, JP. When it comes to market sophistication, something you really have to think about is what have your ideal clients experienced in the past? And like, have they gotten the result? And how can you go a step ahead in order to not ensure the results only, but over deliver for them to stay in that lifetime value kind of realm and become an advocate for your brand? So a lot of places, like when it comes to market sophistication, it's like the lower end of the spectrum is like you have a skill and a need in a market that understands that they need your skill or delivery, but they don't want to execute it. So it's like you have a space to kind of just step into that market and deliver, and you can land clients, and it's more probably scalability if you are in like that niche kind of zone. Like you were saying, the boring businesses, let's niche it even more. It's like you are an ads agency plus call setting agency. So your client acquisition for a landscaping company, let's just say. So it's a very niche market. They're basically just focusing on landscaping. They don't really want to do the website design, the funnel system, the marketing, XYZ. And they definitely don't want to be that content creator in the online space. They just want to go do lawns. So the market sophistication is probably around it too, because they understand that they actually need the solutions that you're offering, but they don't want to do. Whereas like someone in the agency space, for us, it's like there's a slew of coaches and marketers and agencies out there that most likely have heard about what we offer, have been burned in the industry before, don't want to push into like what we're doing. So it's kind of like battling. So it's like, how can we as a company or our clients that are in the coaching and agency space, how can you make your offer so robust that it's like a no-brainer for somebody to work with you? How can you put yourself as like an industry leader to actually position yourself as someone to be trusted inside of the marketplace? And how can people actually come find you and pick you over the competition? So you're not facing people on the phone. Like a couple of our clients is like, what makes you different in the marketplace from all the other hundreds of thousands of people out there doing what you do? And it's like, if you have your messaging down, if you have your branding down and you're building that depth of trust and really just a strong message and then branding behind it, like that's all part of your brand is messaging, graphics, congruence, etc. That's the entire point of this topic today.
Yeah, that's where I was just going to loop it back to too, Nina, the branding aspect, because that's really part of that market sophistication, right? That we've noticed and really dive deeper in with our clients is like we often come in contact with business owners that have great testimonials. They've been in business for years, but they're not showcasing or displaying their testimonials to really build their brand and really set themselves apart in the market, right? For example, we have an amazing sleep coach that we're working with right now, the sleepexpert.com. Elena's been in the space for over 10 years. She's been on probably over a half a dozen or a dozen local news channels in Australia. She's been on blogs. She's been all over the world helping all types of people, over 1,000 transformations. We went into her funnel. We saw that she wasn't showcasing any of those results. So this right here is a perfect example of building the branding of your business, right? Showcasing the brand, and that will help you pierce, as you say, Nina, into that market and really make you that go-to person. And also, like, obviously with the market sophistication we just spoke about and everything, it all goes hand in hand with the building the brand through that.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have anything to add on to that until we hit the next, and before we hit the next topic? Words, I didn't have enough coffee today.
No, I think that pretty much summed it up pretty good. We can move along. Yeah.
Awesome. So what's the next topic, JP?
Let's see here. I thought you had it pulled up. Give me a minute. I don't have it pulled up. I'm watching the live, so sorry about that.
No.
Growing trust and loyalty as you grow your list of leads. That's what you had.
All right, so I definitely want to talk about not only forward facing of like funnels and ads and LinkedIn, everything that we talk about on a daily basis. We've been getting a lot of inquiry about how do you guys actually grow a brand on LinkedIn and how did you get paid ads to actually see a 2 to 10x return? And I love these questions, and it really is. It's like LinkedIn and Facebook ads, like the two main things that we did for our business to actually scale. It's just the first click or the first message that's really worried about to like pull people in, but it's the marketing assets and it's the conversion system on the back end that builds that nurturing process, that trust. And again, like this comes back to branding because it's congruent messaging from first click of LinkedIn or first click from ad straight through somebody booking a call where it's like they're pre-qualified, they're pre-vetted, they understand who you are and what you do and the outcome that you could actually deliver. And I think it's very discounted in the online space, especially coaching, consulting, and especially the agency space when there's everybody trying to offer done for you services. Congruence will be your best friend for scale. And when I say that, it's have a really strong message and don't try to be the solution or every solution for every person that you come across. And like they always say, niches are in the riches and everything like that. But when we talk about that, a niche doesn't have to be like who you help. It could be a detailed solution. So it's like be very strong on your niche and strong on your delivery or strong on the people that you help and go very deep with your niche. And like if you can take from that first click all the way straight through your entire conversion process, which is your marketing and sales process, really intertwining beautifully. If you can create the congruence and a seamless transition of who you are, how you help your clients, the system and the mechanism that you offer with your, what it is you deliver, how it is that you help them, the steps that it actually takes to get there, then the proof of concept with case studies, testimonials, and those marketing assets in place, that's what's going to build your trust and sustainability in the long term. And that's going to be your ticket to scale, is really just building those marketing assets and placing them at the right time in front of the right people in order to make that decision and move forward down the funnel.
Yeah, absolutely, Nina. I love all those things that you just mentioned there. One thing that comes to mind, and this kind of leads into the third bullet point, but we'll kind of just showcase it here. When I think of growing trust, I think of showing up every day. I think of consistent content. I think of consistent emails, and really it doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. As long as you're showing up every day and the person on the other end is seeing consistency in your brand, it's going to go very far. So that's just one thing that I thought about with the trust factor. And that helps you build that list of engaged buyers when it does come time to run your next promotional cycle or put a special offer together. It's really important that you are just showing up every day. You're growing your list, you're providing value forward, and you have that long-term distance approach, like you said there, Nina, to really grow your brand.
Yeah, I think you just said something very crucial, and it kind of snaps me back to a conversation that I was listening to that Neil Patel was having with a agency owner that was doing multiple, I think multiple millions in a year. And like Neil Patel and him were the agency owner were discussing about long-term marketing assets and the long-term vision of a company. And Neil Patel, if you don't know who he is, he's one of like the OG marketers that started in like, I think 2007, if you can really date back to the SEO days. But he's like a really big marketer in the online space. And he talks about the grit and the hours put in. And a lot of times, like even at scale with me and JP, it's like people ask us, it's like, how many hours a day do you work? And it's like, we work a lot and you have to put in the hours if you actually do want to scale a business. And it's like, I don't personally see everything as work. It's like going to dinner and meeting people is still work. But it's like when I am going out and networking at a coffee shop, like still work, even though it's fun. So it's integrating things that are like both like life and business that are kind of contributing to the greater future of what you're trying to build and accomplish. And I feel like a lot of people with like your point of consistency, it's not just consistency of like posting in the online space, but it's consistently pursuing that long-term vision that you have. And that goes hand in hand with the branding. It's like, are you a trustworthy person of like, can somebody come to you and ask about your skill, your niche in the market, and you're actually going to show up with what you're saying? This week alone, I think I connected with like 3 or 4 people in person just to sit down and have conversations. And the reason to do that is because, human to human interaction, but also just like showing up for your business in other ways than just like, posting online. It's just constantly being inside of it, constantly doing, constantly being, so you can have, it's like all that be do have that we always talk about. But are you that person? Are you building that trust and longevity in your vision? And it starts with yourself. And I know I just went on a little bit of a rant, but it's like, are you able to do that every single day and incorporate inside of, the vision that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. That really touches a nerve from a conversation I had actually just this morning. This person I was speaking to is a huge mindset coach in the online space for over decades, honestly. And it just brings me to what you were just saying there about, like what's admirable about most of the folks that we've aligned with, Nina, as we've went through our journey, especially in the past 12 months, is they are very approachable. They're really available. I'm not saying they're available 24/7, like 365, but they're able to hop in and give you those answers to their questions, which is growing their loyalty, right? And it's growing their reputation in the right direction, and growing their brand in the right directions as well. Where the conversation I had this morning is like, oftentimes as businesses start to grow, the owner or founder begins to become disconnected from the actual vision, and then they just start seeing dollars and cents, and then that can lead to separations of business within the organization. And just bring this all together, if you look at the big names in the industry, the Musks, the Hermoses, Taylor Welsh's, like the big names, all these folks are growing culture within their businesses. They're growing not only their brand externally to their clients, they're growing their brand internally, because essentially it's two separate pipelines of like sales and clients versus like internal of building my team, right? I don't want to get too far off on a tangent here, but that was really just, it struck a nerve when you said that. And it like made me think of how admirable it is to really stay true to that vision as you scale your business and grow your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have anything to add to the entirety of the conversation of how branding plays a role in client acquisition before we wrap up, JP?
Not so much. Julie Weisgerber is in the comments here, mastermind member. Nice to see you on the live, Julie. If we're only on Facebook, not LinkedIn, should we look at growing LinkedIn? So as you know, Julie, we focus on one until you're really at the 10 to 20K, even 30K per month range. And then that's when you should diversify your assets. So for you in particular, because we know you so well, we would recommend you just stick to the plan, grow your community, grow that one funnel and that one client acquisition process until, you know, revenue is stable and you've been growing immensely. You have an amazing launch coming up. So look forward to hearing that with you. You probably are on the cusp, I would imagine. So with that being said, yeah, we do focus on just one funnel, one traffic source, and one conversion process until we're at that 20 to 30K predictably. And then we can start to grow our presence online to other platforms.
I would say this, if you are in the B2C space, I don't think LinkedIn is going to be the platform for you. It's more so a B2B platform of really reaching out and like, this is a need in the market and this is exactly what you're going to pierce into. That's why we pushed into LinkedIn as strong as we did about a year ago. For you, Julie, because you are in like that B2C kind of mentality or direct to customer, I should say more so, it's stay on Facebook and then push into Facebook ads, and then Instagram ads is going to be the way for you. It's going to be like that trifecta of like Instagram and Facebook, and then meta ads on kind of top being the one that's feeding both of them, because you are in the B2C space. And this is why it's really important to understand who you are as like a marketer. It's like, are you in the B2B space? Are you in the B2B space, a B2C space, B2B space, or direct to customer space? At the end of the day, yes, we're all in the P2P space, and that's what a lot of people like value their brand on, is like, oh, we're just people speaking to people. But the sales cycle is very different. And understanding the sales cycle for like a B2C customer versus like a B2B customer is super crucial. And that's something that like here at Scaling Lean, everything is custom for each of the clients that we work with, because there is no such thing as a one size fits all for traffic and the buyer's journey. And with you, Julie, I would strongly suggest like stay on Facebook, do your thing on Facebook. You're amazing when it comes to showing up, and then push into paid advertising, because that's more of a B2C kind of style. Whereas like us, it makes more sense to be on LinkedIn, and any of our clients that are in the B2B space to be on LinkedIn as well.
Absolutely, Nina. So I think we can wrap this one up here. As a whole, building a solid personal brand will definitely help you nurture your leads and build a congruent marketing and sales process that pulls people into your business and has them pre-sold to help you build that predictable revenue. We talked a lot about a lot of different topics today, but let us know if you have any questions on branding, on scaling, systems, paid advertising, automated lead gen. Love to have a conversation with you. For those of you that did attend the live, shout out to you. Thanks for being here. And Nina, do you have any last words before we close this one down?
No, yes, actually, I always say no, but then I always talk. 1 o'clock EST, 11 o'clock MDT, 10 o'clock MST. Next week, every Thursday, we are live here. We are shifting over to YouTube, so give us a follow on YouTube if you guys are looking for short and long form content, kind of just nurturing, you know, what it is you're trying to accomplish, which here it's end-to-end client acquisition. So with that being said, we'll catch you next week at 1 o'clock EST, and have a great one.